No, we have security, that's why. And
You just keep doing what you do.
There is a fat black guy standing right there.
There is.
Please take that off.
Keep doing what you do. Fat, that's gonna be keep going, keep going.
Yeah, so.
Wait, what question? Oh, military. So, okay, like I was saying, the convoys, we weren't supplied a lot on time sometimes, but I don't think that was necessarily their fault. But there were a lot of, they were playing politics, and this was when a lot of public opinion was going south, and so the high U.S. military command was kind of trying to please the U.S. public, and therefore we didn't get enough supplies on the ground. So there was a disconnect there. But also the disconnect came when they would tell us, go into this village, take out the bad guys, and then, we'll send in USAID. We will send in the State Department. The UN will come in and build schools and give more housing to the people in the village. And we would do that. We would go in, for a couple days, fight the bad guys, kick them out, and then nothing happened, And so that was the really bad experience that we had was, oftentimes the promises that the government made to us, meaning the U.S. government, the promises that our generals made to us, they weren't really kept because we would do our job, we would push out the bad guys, but it would take a lot of time for the civilians to come through and the U.S. civilian officials to come through and finish our job. Our job is to fight, not build.
Yeah.
And so our job is to push out the bad guys so that the civilians can come in and help out the innocents that were in the village. And we had no problem with that, but then, oftentimes they'd delay, oftentimes they would, well, we'll get there soon, go off to the next village. And okay, we were ordered to go to the next village, so we'd go to the next village, and a couple days later, a couple weeks later, we'd hear over the radio, hey, the insurgents have retaken that town, or retaken that village. And that really pissed us off because, can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that, it's fine.
It really pissed us off because why were we fighting over there? Why are we going into this village and clearing out the bad guys if the civilians aren't going to come in? The U.S. civilians and organizations and UN organizations aren't going to come in and fix the village. We don't want to destroy a village. We want to push out the bad guys so that the civilians can come in and build schools and build irrigation ditches and farms and whatever. But that didn't happen too often. I don't know if that's necessary. Again, I'm talking from my point of view.
Yeah, we just went like an everyday
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's actually a lot of information. That's pretty good information. That's very useful. How do you feel about the emissions claim that Iraq processed?
That word is possessed.
Shut up!
He can dub over this.
Yeah. Do you wanna do it?
I'll sub it.
Okay, we can do it.
I don't know if that means low battery, what that means.
That means low battery.
Just
hurry up.
Press the stop button.
No.
Just in case, make sure. Well, if it turns off,
if it turns off, then we can.
Alright. How do you feel about the administration's claim that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction?
I think we were all gung-ho about it. It was almost, barely anyone questioned it in 2003 when the war happened. And then when we were going in, people actually didn't, the Marines, most of us weren't even worried about that stuff. That was the reason why we went in, but now, hey, the war's gotten bad, a lot of insurgents were there, our job is to kick their butt. We're not even supposed to worry about it. The UN is going to take care of that, the CIA is going to take care of the nuclear weapons, the chemical weapons, these weapons of mass destruction. So as the everyday guy, our job is to fight the daily battles, not necessarily go hunt down these nuclear weapons. But, as you start losing friends, as you started seeing guys getting wounded, as you saw a lot of civilians get hurt, you realize, hey, okay, what's the purpose of this? What am I doing here? Why are all these people getting hurt? And I think at the time we were so busy kind of trying to survive Iraq that we didn't, even though we had the questions, we didn't really care for the answer. We only really answered that question once we came back And personally, I think it's disappointing that apparently that claim is debunked. That claim, hey, we went in there for the wrong reasons, or for a lie, that whether the Bush administration or the CIA, whether they conspired, or who knows about that. But at the same time, I don't think that negates what we did. We definitely saw a problem there, and everyone says, well, if America didn't go in, then that problem wouldn't have been there in the first place. So I don't know about that, but in 2005, what I can say is there's a lot of bad things happening. A lot of people sneaking in from Syria, a lot of people sneaking in from Chechnya, Jordan, and literally killing and raping and murdering civilians, and that needed to stop. So whether or not there was weapons of mass destruction, I don't know. And it's disappointing to find out that we went in for the wrong reasons, but at the same time I can say, at least for the Marines, we did a lot of good stuff.
How did your military service shape the person you are today?
Holy cow, these are big questions.
Take your time.
They're deep, man.
Yeah, no, there. You wrote them, right?
Yeah.
I saw them online. I saw like 2 online.
How did it shape me as a person? I mentioned before that I became more reflective, and I think it's really easy for people to be for or against something and just be really outspoken about it. Once you experience combat, it gives you a flavor of life that I think mellows you out, and I think for some people can't handle it, and I don't blame them for anything, but some people just aren't meant for it. But those that can overcome that mental stress, you learn from the experience, and you become more. You realize how much life is worth, and then how little talk actually means. What I mean is, anyone can say whatever they want, but can you back it up? And I think if you meet guys who've truly seen some bad things, you realize that they've become much more mellower, and so that's affected me personally. Also, how other ways that I've changed is I've become a better leader. The Marines, I don't know if I would have learned all of this in the other services. You mentioned what branch do I serve with, and it's the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps loves leadership. And the Marines are all about, hey, can you fight 300 bad guys with 100 good guys? So we're always meant to be outnumbered, and we're always meant to be able to overcome any sort of obstacle. And so it's taught me leadership. I think I've become a much better leader. Esther knew me when I was
Very little.
Well, yeah, when you were very little, and I thought I was a good leader, but no, I think I'm a much better leader now. And then secondly, I think because I've had to make quick decisions and overcome all these obstacles, I don't consider anything unbeatable. I think most Marines will think, hey, hey, I'm failing school, I can do something to get an A, no matter what it is, right? Whether it's at school, or whether it's at work, or some sort of life issue, you realize there's always a way to win. And then the second thing is making decisions under stress.
I'm just going to skip question 18.
Okay, do number 19. 19's good.
Right. Well, can you tell me about the war that the average person doesn't know?
Think
Top secret stuff.
top secret stuff. Top secret stuff. There was a lot of foreign intervention going on. One thing is, we would, I don't know if you need to edit this up, but we would, take out some bad guys, and we'd go in and inspect their bodies to determine, hey, were these guys? So we were getting shot at from a building, or we would, one of our vehicles would blow up, and then, we search the neighborhood, and you'd see a wire going from the bomb into this building, and you go into the building, and you take out the bad guys there, and when some of these guys that we saw lying there, they were wearing nice tracksuits, or they were wearing nice sneakers. And if you're from Iraq, you didn't have access to that kind of clothing. And so, that told you these guys were coming from, I mean, I'm not going to go into the deep, dark secrets, but there were things that tipped us off that, hey, these guys are from a foreign country. Or some of them literally had foreign papers. They didn't have passports or anything like that, but they had documents that showed us that they were from Syria, Jordan, Chechnya. Some were coming from even Chechnya. People were coming from Saudi Arabia to fight us. So this was definitely a battleground. A lot of people say, without much conviction, that, hey, if we're not over there, they'd be over here. I don't think people really understand that that's actually really true. These guys were coming to Iraq, and right now they're coming to Afghanistan because America and because all these NATO countries are over there right now. So their job, in their minds, they think, oh, we can actually fight them over here. We don't have to sneak into the U.S.
Right.
That's one thing that I think a lot of people don't know, that we found tons of evidence that there were other countries, well, other citizens involved. The other thing is, I think the majority of your class, you guys, when you guys go into college, or even go into the workforce, you're going to see a lot of people maybe 10, 15 years older than you that are going to be walking around the mall, walking around the movie theater with a limp, or maybe in a wheelchair. And you guys might not give a second thought to it. Most Americans probably won't give a second thought to it. But if you notice carefully, you'll notice that, hey, maybe their left pant leg isn't fitting right, or their right arm is a little loose. And I think what we didn't experience growing up, and what you guys will experience growing up, the average American will experience growing up in the future, is a society filled with a lot of wounded vets. So we had no war. We had like the Persian Gulf War and stuff, but back then, no one, if you lost a limb, you were pretty much dead.
Yeah.
But now, with the advances in medical technology, we had a ton of people get blown up and lose like all 3 limbs, or 3 of their 4 limbs, and still survive. So what I want to say is, most people don't realize that it's not like the movies.